Hey everybody, welcome. It's Wendy. We are going to make this fabulous shaker card today. And I have a lot of tips and ideas for you on this because this card gave me issues. So I'm using the Shaker Shapes framelit set and the Shake and Celebrate stamp set. It is a bundle that you can purchase in the holiday catalog. And I'm using the cookie cutter bundle from Stampin Up, the gingerbread and the punch, and then I'm using the Snow Friends framelit set, which is older. It's in the annual catalog now, so you can pick that up there. I have a piece of crumb cake cardstock cut at 4 1/4 by 11, and then I'm adding on a piece of candy cane striped designer series paper, and it is cut at 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm just going to layer that on, and that's all we'll see of that for a while. Okay, so I'm getting my Big Shot, and we're going to cut out the cake part of this framelit. Okay, so I have a little bit of love-hate relationship with this framelit set because when I purchased it, I thought that there was like a frame that would go around the cutout. So you see all the little pieces that have been cut out here. So in my head, there was also a frame that would cut the cake out. So it wouldn't just be the cake, if that makes sense. I don't know how to explain it to you. In my head, that's how I saw it in the catalog because I don't read like most of us. I look at photos. So I am now using my paper snips because I cut this out twice. And then I took the framelit and I laid it down on top and I traced it with a crumb cake marker all the way around the outside of the framelit. So it gave me this little edge. So in my head, the framelits cut out this little outline piece that I just hand cut out. Okay? Which makes no sense because if you're doing it for a shaker card, you wouldn't want it to be that thin. However, what I wanted is I wanted this to kind of act as a frame or a, I don't know, like a finishing piece around the edges of this framelit. So I'm going to use my fine tip glue pen and add this to the top of this piece so that it's kind of giving it some dimension on top. I highly recommend that if you are going to use this framelit set that you take a deep breath first because it's gorgeous when it's finished, but it takes a little bit of brain power in the sense that it cuts the insides out, but it doesn't cut a frame out, and so your mind, it kind of messes with your head. That's the only way I can describe it. Okay, so I got that all finished, and then I'm going to use my Early Espresso ink, and I'm going to use the stamp set that comes in the bundle, and I'm assuming this is supposed to look like icing, so it's kind of like swirly little bits of icing going across. And then I'm using the Christmas cheer stamp at the very bottom of this paper, and I'm moving it kind of over to the right because I need room to add my gingerbread later. So that is the front of my cake. And then I'm going to add some window sheet. You can get window sheets from Stampin Up. They're 12 by 12, and you can just cut them up and use them however you like. That's what I do. And so I have this little bitty piece here. And this, I cut this cardstock, the crumb cake cardstock, is cut at 2 1/2 by 3 3/4, I believe, or 3 1/2. And then I have the awesome dimensional tape from Stampin Up that I am just going to use to go all around here. Now, this is where one of my big tips comes in. You have to create a shaker frame for every layer of cake. Does that make sense? So you have to add these pieces in between every layer of cake. Otherwise, all of your shaker bits fall to the bottom of the cake and you don't see them at the top. Now, the only way to get around this would be to fill the entire thing with sequins to the point that it was full all the way to the top. But then it's probably not going to do much shaking. So what I found the easiest to do was to put all my little pieces in between each layer of cake and then go around the edge of the cake and close off all the openings, essentially, the edges. That's the easiest way to do this. I've done it several ways, trying to figure out what the easiest way to enclose all of this is, and this is definitely the easiest. So I'm going around all the edges now, and I am creating an enclosure for each layer of the cake. And then when I'm done with that, I will be able to add my sequins and my backing to the cake. Okay, so I'm just going to trim this off, and then I'm going to do the other side. While I'm doing this, I just want to mention that this framelit set is one that I've had 3 people request me to do a video, request that I do a video on this set, because they purchased the set and then they had the same quandary that I did, which was, how do you use it? Because it is a little confusing when you first see it. So over on my blog, I have, of course, my video, and then I also have a video from Stampin UP. So you can see that too if you go to my blog. Okay, I'm adding sequins here from Craft Metally sequins, the red ones, and you can purchase these sequins on Amazon. I have a link over on my blog. I also have a link to the googly eyes that I purchased over on my blog. I am an Amazon affiliate now, so I do get a little kickback from Amazon when you purchase certain crafting items through them, or any items through them when you use my link. And I get a little kickback for that, and that just helps support my craft. I don't know if you know this, but crafters don't make a whole ton of money. We're not rolling in it. So when we can get a little bit of extra help from a different source financially, that really helps out what we're doing, because it takes a lot of time to create and do our videos, but we love it, so we would do it no matter what. But the money's nice. Having a little extra change is nice. Okay, so I filled this all in with sequins, and you could do different colors, and at the end of the video you're going to see another card from me that I created using this with lots of different sequin colors. That was a lot of fun. And then I have a piece of early espresso cardstock that I'm just layering right onto the back of here to close that shaker window up. And then I'm going to add adhesive and add it to another piece of early espresso cardstock that will actually act as a mat going all the way around the crumb cake piece. You'll see that in just a second. You'll see what I'm talking about. And that's cut at 3 3/4 by 2 3/4. So right here. So then it just gives it a very nice finished look, and the early espresso going around pulls the early espresso ink out. It makes it pop. So it gives it a base to pop from. Now, in my photos, you will see that my card base is early espresso. And that is simply because when I grabbed a card base to make this video, I grabbed the wrong color. I used crumb cake for my card base, and I didn't mean to do that. I wanted to use early espresso. So you can see in the photos the early espresso looks much better, because again, it's adding that little pop of dark color, and it really looks nice. Okay, so now I have little ornaments that I stamped and already die cut out, and I did that just to save us a little bit of time in this video, because this video is a little bit lengthy. So that is also out of the Shake and Celebrate stamp set, and I used early espresso, real red, and garden green ink to create those ornaments, and then I'm just adding them. So they're kind of cute because it's a Christmas cake, and then I'm adding ornaments to the front of it, so I thought that was a cute little idea. All right, now here's the best part of this whole card, and I feel like what makes the whole card come together. I already pre-stamped and punched this little cookie cutter guy, and he's a gingerbread, and I stamped him in early espresso ink, and I stamped on crumb cake cardstock. I punched him out, and I'm just going to add him here. In fact, this would be cute enough. However, I took the Snow Friends Framelits, and there's this little hat that is supposed to be like a top hat for the penguin. And what I did is I added it upside down so that it would look like a chef's hat. So it looks like this little gingerbread baked this cake. That was what was in my head when I was creating this card. I don't always know that what is in my mind comes out on the card the way you see it, but that's how I saw it in my head. So then I'm going to add googly eyes, and I purchased googly eyes from Amazon, and I purchased them in this big round thing that has a bunch of different sizes, and then I add this tiny ones to a smaller box, because a lot of times I need just the smaller ones and I don't need all of them. But there's a link to that on my blog also if you need it. Okay, then I'm going to add his little bow tie, which is punched from the Candy Cane Lane Designer Series paper, and it's punched out of that same cookie cutter punch, so you don't have to do anything different to get that little bow tie, but it really adds a lot to the gingerbread, I think. Okay, there you can see the early espresso version of this card, which you can definitely tell a difference. I mean, it makes everything pop more. This is the other card that I created, using this framelit set. I outlined the outside of the cake, and then I added a bunch of different colors of sequins, and those sequins are also linked over on my blog. The link for all of this stuff can be found in the description down below the video, and you click on that, it takes you to my blog. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day, and subscribe to my channel. Bye-bye.